yo estaba conversando con ella antes del programa y le decía, mira, vamos a tener a una escritora española, y yo he escuchado que mucha gente dice que la dieta mediterránea, the Mediterranean diet is very good, and you just can eat very well, and you don't weigh, no agarras peso, y que es muy saludable. Entonces yo le dije a Melissa, what about if we talk about the Mediterranean diet? And Melissa started to say very interesting things, and that's why we are going to start talking with Melissa. Melissa, Mediterranean diet.
Okay, thank you, Emma, for having me today. I'm really happy to be here.
Pleasure to have you.
The Mediterranean diet is a great diet, actually. A lot of doctors recommend it, and a lot of people enjoy it. So it's made up of fresh fruits and vegetables, some fish, some chicken, moving away from meat and more lean meats, and also it includes dairy and bread. So it works for a number of people. They enjoy it. However, like I said before when we talked last time, diets don't work for everyone. And one of the reasons is because everybody's needs are different.
Yeah.
And everybody is different.
Metabolism. Yeah.
Right. So I had a very good friend who was asking me about her fibromyalgia. She knew I was studying to be a health coach at the time, and she wanted to know how she could deal with her fibromyalgia. So I said, interesting, you should ask me. I said, I've been doing this Mediterranean diet. I've been really enjoying it, but I also know that gluten, which is in bread, which is in pasta and other things you eat in the Mediterranean diet, actually cause inflammation. And inflammation, especially with fibromyalgia, causes more pain.
Yeah, it's worse.
Right. So what I suggested to her at the time was cut out all bread, all pasta, anything that would have gluten in it. Now, gluten is a protein. It's a combination of protein, and that's what gives bread its elasticity. So when you pull apart, you're making dough for bread or anything, that's gluten. So she cut out the gluten. About 6 months later, I had another conversation with her about her health, and actually her fibromyalgia had dissipated hugely.
Wow.
Okay, she was no longer in pain, she told me.
So, déjenme contarles un poquito de lo que nos está diciendo Melissa, y es que cuando yo le pregunto a ella por la dieta mediterránea, me dice que es interesante que le pregunte porque tiene una amiga que tiene fibromialgia y ella está haciendo esa dieta, y Melissa le aconseja quitar el gluten que está en el pan, en las harinas, en los carbohidratos, que lo reduzca, porque resulta que el gluten lo que ocasiona es inflamación, y la inflamación es lo peor que podemos tener para la fibromialgia. So that's very interesting, Melissa. So how people can replace this gluten for what, Melissa?
Okay, so a lot of times people think, oh, I'll go to the grocery store, and the biggest thing now in the grocery store, any local grocery store you go to, in any country you're in, okay, there's something called gluten-free. So what a lot of companies have done is they realize that people are on this gluten-free trend. Actually, about 7% of the population.
Gluten-free club.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, about 7% of the population is gluten sensitive, and the other people who have celiac disease also have to avoid gluten. So a lot of companies see that gluten-free might be also associated with low fat, low calories. They're trying to encourage people to eat better, but at the same time, what they're really doing is they're taking their processed food products, putting a label of gluten-free on that. They're replacing maybe cornmeal or something else with it, but it's still a processed product. So it's still creating that inflammation. So my suggestion from a health coach who suggests whole, nutritious foods is you switch to something else other than bread or pasta and skip the gluten-free boxes at the grocery store.
Very interesting.
Okay.
Si escuchan, ¿no, chicas? No vale la pena, en cierta forma, agarrar las cosas, los productos que dicen gluten-free, libre de gluten, porque de todas formas va a tener sustancias procesadas, y eso va a seguir produciendo la inflamación. Entonces Melissa nos va a recomendar otra cosa, which is...
Okay, there are a lot of healthy, wonderful grains that are complex carbohydrates that are absolutely so wonderful for you because they don't raise your blood sugar, because they take a lot more time to digest. So you have things like brown rice, millet, cornmeal, oatmeal, amaranth, and quinoa.
Quinoa.
And wild rice. Now, just for the audience.
What about millet?
Oh, millet? I mentioned that. Yes, I love that. Yes.
Okay.
And for the audience, just want to let you know that quinoa actually has its roots in Peru and the Andean Mountains, and that's where it comes from.
Incas.
Yes. So the women of the Andean Mountains used to eat it to get through the winter. So I guarantee you, if you eat it, right, if you eat it in the morning, it's going to last you a long time. It takes a long time to digest. It has a lot of healthy, ingredients in it for you, and you're actually going to feel a lot better than eating pasta or bread in the morning or other things that might not necessarily give you the energy that you need to get through the day.
Bueno, vean chicas que en vez de agarrar los productos que dicen gluten free, ustedes pueden agarrar quinoa, cebada, avena, brown rice o arroz, le llamamos integral, millet. But Melissa, how to prepare a breakfast with quinoa?
Quinoa?
Sounds weird.
It isn't. What I like to tell clients,
Okay.
what I like to tell clients is you got a lot of options. So when I first started on a healthy diet about, 7 years ago, the way I did it was I did smoothies, okay? And one of the best ways to do smoothies is to make sure you get your greens. So there are tons and tons of smoothie recipes on the internet, ladies. So, and gentlemen.
Vegetables, fruits, and quinoa?
Yeah. So what I do in the morning, just to give you an example, I like to do bananas with raspberries, with charred kale or possibly spinach, okay? I put in almond milk and water. You can use coconut milk if you want, or substitute that with it. And again, I don't suggest dairy unless you know dairy works for you, so that's another thing. And then you can also add whey protein powder if you want. Zap it and drink that up. And you will have a lot of energy, I would say, for about 2 or 3 hours. And then with that, you can add on, if you have time, millet with apples and cinnamon. You can do oatmeal, whole oatmeal, steel cut oatmeal with pears, nuts, and seeds. You can do quinoa if you want. And you can add in a little bit of lemon juice with oil, and you can do some vegetables. It's really about what you think breakfast is. And breakfast in some countries is not necessarily the breads. It's about eating eggs with a lot of vegetables in it. So it's really up to you what you want, but what I'm saying to you is eat breakfast like a queen, lunch like a princess, and dinner like a pauper. That's the order of how much food you should be eating throughout the day.
Bueno, fíjense que Melissa nos está dando unos datos excelentes. Hay que comer el desayuno como si fuera un rey y como si fuera una reina, el almuerzo, y la cena sería como si fuera un mendigo. Un mendigo. Es decir, vamos de lo más grande a lo más pequeño. Y nos está contando que hacer estos smoothies, estos jugos con fruta, con vegetales, con quinoa, con avena, con limón, puede ser genial, y además le da como una energía que le puede durar más de 3 horas y no vamos a sentir esas ganas de comer tan rápido. Bueno, Melissa, have you prepared quinoa in other different ways, like you prepare rice? I tell you a story. I usually go to Ecuador more or less once a year, and in Ecuador, that is very close to Peru, and they are very similar. A bag of quinoa, this big, I don't know how to show it in pounds, costs $1. And quinoa, people from a middle class or high class, they don't eat quinoa because they consider that quinoa is for poor people, which is terribly stupid. And I enjoy it very much, quinoa. But what other ways do you prepare quinoa?
Well, actually, it's really funny you should say that, because quinoa in this country
is very expensive.
Exactly. So it's really about concepts and thinking. Yes.
Quinoa.
Right. And the great thing about quinoa is it's now readily available in your local supermarket.
That's
Prices are going down. They have plain quinoa, and they also have tricolored quinoa. They have,
because it looks exotic.
Not only that, but they're mixing quinoa with other grains, so you can buy a mixture of grains, for your dinner, whatever you want. What I like to do with quinoa, I've noticed some people put it in salad. They'll put it in with their kale, with quinoa, and put in some vegetables. You could do it that way. You can cook the quinoa and also use cooked vegetables, and also put your sofrito in it, if you'd like. You could also put curry. I like to use Thai curry in my quinoa. And then you can add in a lean meat. You can literally make an entire meal out of using quinoa as your base. So if you normally have vegetables on the side, you might have your chicken over here. What you can actually do is create an entire meal. Just put the quinoa, you boil your quinoa, you do your vegetables, you do your lean meat, obviously put a nice spicy sauce in there for you and your family, put it all together, and you have this beautiful meal.
And you prepare quinoa like in the same way that you prepare rice?
Yes, it's very simple. It's all the directions are on the bag.
Great. Melissa, when did you start to have a healthy life?
I started to have a healthy life back in about 2007, 2008. I had chronic fatigue and a lot of pain. I had a herniated disc.
Oh.
And what I found was, I thought yoga was my answer, and it was part of the answer. But I also, at that time, I had listened to a yoga disc, a CD at that time, and it was from the Mayo Clinic. And there was this doctor on there, and he was saying how you needed to go to the produce aisle if you had back pain. I said, well, that's kind of odd. I never heard of that. And he was totally right. If you have any chronic disease or illness, the best thing you can do for yourself is eat well. So not only was able to, through yoga and acupuncture and other alternative therapies, get my back. I'm no longer in pain, haven't been in pain for a while. But at the same time, the fatigue from these few years and also getting older, I needed energy. So one of the reasons I eat well is I enjoy it, but also because it gives me my energy.
You want to feel good.
And it also, on the inside, you don't see what's happening in your body, but it's really supporting all the inner structures of your body, and you're keeping yourself younger by eating healthy.
Amigas, estamos en Para Ti Mujer con Emma Restrepo y estoy conversando con Melissa Shapiro, quien es una entrenadora de salud, saludable. Yo no sé bien cómo traducirlo al español, pero es una health coach. Y ella nos está contando su historia de cómo se metió en esta historia linda de una vida saludable, y es que tenía una hernia en uno de los discos de su columna. Ella estaba haciendo yoga y comienza a cambiar por completo sus hábitos, sigue haciendo yoga, cambió su alimentación y de hecho ya no siente el dolor de la hernia, y también sentía mucha fatiga y en este momento se siente saludable y disfruta la vida. What was the biggest change that you made in the food that you were eating before and that you are eating now?
Okay, I'll be honest with our audience.
Totally.
I actually had the standard American diet. I was eating a lot of, probably 80%, of the lean meat and, potatoes or the things that were starchy, like pasta, and about 20% vegetables. I wouldn't say my diet was bad. I didn't eat a lot of fast food, but I was not eating the level of vegetables and fruits and other things that I eat today. And also watching, what I do as well with my exercise. I became much more of an avid exerciser because that's what solved my back problem. So once you start exercising and eating well, you're feeling so much better, you want to keep doing it. Everybody wants to be healthy.
Yeah.
Everybody.
You don't want to go back to your old habits.
Exactly, but it took me time. Okay, it didn't happen in 3 months.
How much time did it take you?
I would say 1.5 years, 2 years to switch over, but I didn't have a health coach. If I had had a health coach,
it would be easier.
Oh yeah, you've got someone directing you and also working with you to find out, again, ladies, what works for you and your body, not works for someone else's body. Now, what some people do is they find out what works for them, and then they might adapt some of these, diets that are around, different things from different diets. It's about creating your own diet, and it's about working with someone that can absolutely support you. It takes a lot of support to switch over. Yes,
yeah.
No, it does.
Yeah.
And there might be other things going on in your life, other areas in your, your relationships and career that are also affecting the way you eat, the way you look at your life, and those are the things that a health coach helps you with.
Melissa, when you are talking, of course, because it's part of my progress, I have a lesion in my spine cord. So, well, not in my spine cord, in my back. So, how do you do exercise without affecting? What kind of exercise do you do without affecting your back?
Okay, the first thing I would ask you is, what has your doctor recommended to you? did you do physical therapy? That's what I would ask you.
Got it.
I am not an expert in that
handle it,
component. Right. That's what I would first ask you, what you've tried, what has worked for you, and then what we would do is develop a plan around what other things might work. But you always have to refer back to your doctor. That the type of injury that you have is serious. You don't want to exacerbate it by doing the wrong exercises. The person I found that helped me was a physical therapist it took me a while to find him. A lot of different opinions around physical therapy even these days.
Sure. Yeah.
So I did something called the McKenzie method, which is where you align your body. It's all about alignment. Your lesion sounds like you might actually benefit from yoga, but I would ask you as my client to first talk to your doctor and make sure that is something
good for
that
you.
that they would agree with that type of therapy. You always need to go to the expert.
Got it.
And I'm the expert on lifestyle and nutrition, but I'm here to, what I would suggest to you is that you change your diet if it's not supporting you and your back. That's what I would suggest. Also, walking is great and swimming is always great.
Sí. Fíjense que Melissa, cuando yo le pregunto, claro, por mis problemas, obviamente, porque yo represento quizás parte de muchas de las mujeres que nos están escuchando con problemas de la espalda. Entonces Melissa nos da la recomendación de que hay que preguntarle al doctor, hay que hacer terapia y ya para cambiar los hábitos alimenticios es cuando nos vamos a donde Melissa, pero ella trata entonces de hacer algo holístico, es decir, cómo son las cosas que nos afectan desde diferentes partes de la vida para tener una vida saludable, no solo la parte de alimentación, pero también la parte física. Y ahora le voy a preguntar aparte sobre el yoga. Melissa, you said yoga. When you say yoga, are you connecting also with this spiritual side that we have, and especially women, that we have this spirituality? Because it seems to me that is important, right? We are just a whole
person,
and we have this physical part, we have this food,
emotional,
and spirituality
right.
part. What do you think about it?
I think that prayer and faith has a huge role in your whole overall health. Whatever that faith or religion is very important. They say that actually people live longer when they actually practice a particular faith. At the same time, what connects me to yoga is meditation. I really enjoy meditation. It opens your mind, it creates new space, and you start seeing things in a different way. And also for people who have a lot of stress and anxiety, I highly recommend 5 to 10 minutes in the morning of meditation. It starts really making a difference in your awareness about what you're doing and how certain things or certain situations may stress you and how you can change them just by doing this, opening up your mind in a different way. So I think the combination of the two for me work, your faith, meditation, and also relationships, being positive, and also finding relationships that work for you and that are supportive of you really makes a difference in your overall health, and that sometimes is more important than your food. We actually, it becomes more important for a lot of people. You could have great nutrition, but you could be incredibly unhappy. So what I'm trying to say is but the nutrition changes a lot of things, so it can't be overlooked either. But the first thing we look at when you come to speak with me is everything. We're not just looking at your diet.
Bueno,
Right.
fíjense, amigas, las cosas tan importantes que está diciendo Melissa, y es que le pregunto yo por el yoga y la parte espiritual, porque eso somos los seres humanos, no somos solamente la parte física, no solamente somos lo que comemos, somos también nuestra espiritualidad y nuestra emocionalidad. Y ella, como bien lo dice, esto afecta muchísimo el tipo de vida que tenemos. No importa la religión que tengamos, alimentar esa parte espiritual y alimentar esta conexión con lo que no tiene que ver nada con lo físico es muy importante. Ella puede decir, usted puede tener una dieta fantástica, puede alimentarse perfecto, pero puede seguir siendo una persona infeliz. Y quizás es esa espiritualidad y esta parte religiosa la que nos permite acercarnos un poco a la felicidad, o como los orientales lo llaman, la tranquilidad, la paz. y tener unas mejores relaciones con las personas que nos rodean. Y ella lo dice, ella trabaja con usted cuando usted quiere acceder al servicio de ella en una manera holística. Es todo, la parte física, la espiritual, lo que comemos, nuestro ambiente de vida, etcétera, lo que somos como seres humanos. Melissa, I have a couple of minutes, and you said, I'm going to go back, you said meat. And there is a huge population that is becoming vegan. Some of them because they just believe in a better world. Others because they have realized, or some people say, that meat is not good for you. And what do you think about meat? Do you eat meat?
Yes, I eat meat, and I'll tell you why, and maybe this will help you out. I eat meat that's organic, and I do agree with a lot of the vegans. Yes, the farming that exists today, as far as the cows and the chickens, we don't treat them humanely, and also you're eating that meat that has hormones, antibiotics, and GMOs in it, and you're putting that into your body. So organic meat is a little bit more expensive, but it's called free range. The chickens get to walk around, the cows get to eat their grass.
They have a better life.
Right, and whatever they're eating is going into your body. So you really have to think about what you're eating, as that's what's involved. Now, I actually tried a vegan diet. I actually did that. And what some people find is they're very, they can take their B12 supplement, do their vegan diet, and they feel great. My problem was, when I switched to a vegan diet, I started eating a lot of sugar and a lot of bread. I noticed I was going back to
things. Energy.
You're right. And it was a balance in your own body. So everybody has to find that balance. So what I suggest is, you need 7 to 10 servings of vegetables at least a day. But if you need that meat, and also we have listeners on this call that are from South America, and they have different farming practices, you have to do what's great in your community. But yeah, you want to cut back on a lot of red meat. A lot of red meat has been shown to contribute to chronic disease. So eating lean meat in small amounts during the week is fine, and I would not necessarily cut it out of your diet if it works for you. And yeah, of course, I would support vegans. I think that's great. But it just vegan diet was a huge change for me, and my body really craved, chicken.
Yes.
And the fish. So you really have to find what works for you. And again, look at labels in the grocery store. If you decide to go organic, please do. It's a little bit more expensive, but you are doing a lot of good for you and your family, reducing toxins in your body, because you would not believe what they are actually feeding these animals.
It's crazy.
Right. It's if you watch some of these
movies. You told me that you visited one of these farms.
Yeah, there's one out in Chalfont, PA. It's called Necessity Farms. And actually why I like this farm was this man is actually trying to make a huge connection in Pennsylvania, switching a lot of the farmers over to organic farming. He's having conversations with farmers who may not be doing organic farming and showing them that this might be a better option. So I really liked him. He was like a leader in the community around organic farming. He had these beautiful goats and cows. He even names them. One of the goats was named Mulan, from Disney. Yeah. And it was great. So we really enjoyed it. And I actually bought meat there. And the meat was even better than the organic meat in the grocery store. Oh no, it looks different when you cook it. I mean, seriously.
No, talking about the taste.
The taste is much better. Like eggs that are organic, they're a little bit more expensive, but they're fluffy, they taste better, and you just feel different when you eat them.
And the yellow is more intense, right?
No, actually it's less intense. I think that's color that they add in. Yeah, I think, I'm not sure, but the eggs that I eat, no, they're not that intense, but they're a nice color.
Yeah, it's like tomatoes. There is a close greenhouse close to my home, and when I eat those tomatoes, they are totally different.
Right.
They are, the flavor, it has nothing to be with the regular tomato that I buy in the supermarket.
Right, the supermarket tomato probably took 3 to 4 weeks to get there. So you're buying a tomato that's already seen most of its shelf life. When you buy it, you've got about 3 or 4 days left on that tomato. Yeah. So when you go to a farmer's market,
fresh, but it's not true.
Right. But when you go to farmer's market, that tomato will last you at least a week in your refrigerator, if not more.
Yes,
so,
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Melissa, I remember that last time that you came here, you were talking about an option of being a coach, a health coach. and you were talking, I think it's a place in New York, so because this is an option for our girls and boys in our barrio. I'm going to switch in a moment to Spanish. Amigas, ¿recuerdan la última vez que Melissa estuvo aquí? Ella nos conversó de aquí una posibilidad de hacerse un health coach con unos cursos que se toman creo que en Nueva York, y eso es lo que le voy a preguntar a ella. Melissa, you told us about this school, something that you can take some courses online or as a matter of fact, I think you did, and it is I think it's a great opportunity for our kids, our teens when they finish high school, and it's also good. So can they be a coach like you?
Yes. In fact, I'd like to share the information again. It's the Institute for Integrative Nutrition in New York. You can go online, or you can go to my website, melissashealthylifestyle.com, and there's a link there, and you can check out the courses offered. Actually, in one of my health coaching circles when I studied, we had someone who was 19, and she was unsure of what she wanted to do with her life, and rather than spend a ton of money and going to college and not knowing what she wanted to do, she decided to take the course and see, and she was very interested. And the curriculum is very, challenging. So I suggest that if you are 18 and you're looking for a career and you want to see what nutrition's all about, it's a great opportunity. They do have, it's not a huge amount of money, and also if you sign up at a certain time, they give a certain percentage off on the tuition. So also you're joining a community of about 800,000 health coaches worldwide, globally. There are, Latinas involved in South America and the Caribbean and Central America, and I really encourage you to do this. It's a great way to get to know your community better, and also to start advancing yourself early. Yeah, and if you're an entrepreneur, this is perfect for you. If you want to start your own business and you want to help other people with their health, I think this is for you.
Bueno, amigas, las mamás que nos están escuchando, vayan al Facebook, a la página de Facebook de Para Ti Mujer con Emma Restrepo, y allí van a ver el post que yo puse sobre Melissa. Está su página web, y en la página web de Melissa hay un link para ir a esta escuela de Nueva York y tomar el curso, porque como ella lo dice, si sus chicos tienen 18 años, 17 años, no saben qué quieren hacer con su vida, no quieren meterse en un college y pagar una carrera, pueden meterse a esta opción y tener muy rápidamente un negocio y ayudar a la comunidad, comer mejor, ser más saludables y tener una vida muchísimo mejor para todos nosotros. Melissa, we run out of time. Thank you very much for being here. You're great. You are part of the family, and you will come back.
Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Ok, Melissa. Chicas, nos vemos el próximo domingo. Abrazos a todas y que tengan una semana maravillosa.